happening right now. So further ado, Kagan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Willie. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Kagan Lee. I'm the competition manager of the upcoming NCTTA championships. Of course, you probably know Willie, president of NCTTA and the tournament director of the tournament. Also with us are Jeff Wong, who is the tournament referee, and Bill Engelbrecht, who is a deputy referee. So the purpose of this is just for your benefit. We're going to make the draw live for your observation purposes. It's not mandatory. If you're busy or something, you're free to leave. It's completely optional. So we're gonna make the draws of the team events, both the women's teams and the co-ed teams. And what I'm showing right now is the basic rules of this draw. So I'm just going to walk through it simply. The most important rule is if you're the top seed, you take first position, second seed, second position, third and fourth seeds, third and fourth positions, etc. This cannot be broken. The second rule, we are separating teams by region. And the definition of separation means you're going to potentially play each other as late as possible. For example, two teams in the same region should go in opposite halves if there are only two teams. If there are three teams, then they should go in separate quarters. The third rule, the same thing applies for teams that are in the same division. It's very similar. And beyond that, everything is random. And what I'm showing on the right side of my screen is just normally we would draw cards or have the players choose numbers or balls out of a basket. Since we're online, we're just going to use this little website where I spin the wheel and it picks a number like that. Okay, so as I go through the draws, you are free to ask questions. You can, if you have a short question, you're free to type it into the chat. If you have something more involved, you could raise your hand and ask us the question. If you see me mess up, you should interrupt me. This goes not just for the referees and Willie, but any player, any team captain. Interrupt, tell me I screwed up, because the goal is not, not to shove things down your throat, but to do it legally and correctly. That is part of why you're observing, is that everyone knows that we're doing it fairly and nobody is, rigging the draw in favor of some team. So first I'm going to show, let's see if I have it here. Okay, let's show this and this. If you have not seen the website, on the championships website are the teams, the players, all the information about who is entered into the tournament. So that's champs.nctta.org on the news tab. And within here, you can see how we arrived at the seeding, which is, just described on the website. It's not straightforward, but you can read the details of how seeding is done on the website. And also on there is the unordered rosters. Unordered in the sense that this is not the order of play. They're ordered by ratings only. So this is just so you can see, you can verify first of all who is on your team. This should be who you registered. And you can see who your potential opponents are. So after the draw, you can see, oh, we're playing against this team. Let's see who their players are. Let's see how we match up and how we want to line up our players. So this is all on the website right now, and will stay on the website. So after we make the draw tonight, there was a question about changing rosters. So after the draws are made tonight, you can look at who your opponent will be, who your potential opponents in future rounds as well, and adjust the order of your players on the NCTTA app, and also set your default lineups in the NCTTA app. The deadline for all changes is 11:59 p.m. April 4th, that's Thursday, Eastern Time. Okay, so there are no other questions. We'll go ahead and make the draw for the women's teams. This is the bracket for the women's teams. What I have displayed here on the right side here are the 16 teams that are playing. This number here is their seed. So the seed number 3, for example, Western and NYU. Western is ranked 3rd, NYU is ranked 4th, but in a draw purpose, they're considered equally seeded number 3. The same for these 4 teams. Teams 5 through 8 are equally considered teams seed 5. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to draw in order by seed order. The top seed, Texas Wesleyan, I'm going to highlight here in red. Here's the only valid position for seed 1, the only valid team for seed 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them where they go. Texas Wesleyan goes in the first position. Seed 2s, there's only one seed 2. This is fairly straightforward. They must go in that position. Okay, now we get to the draw part. Seed 3, there are 2 teams that are equally considered seed 3, Western and NYU. There are 2 valid positions they can go to. There is no separation by region here since these 2 teams are in different regions from the first 2 teams. So this is a very straightforward draw. So what we're going to do is take all these numbers out of the wheel, which I should have done this before, but okay. Mouse skills. Okay. So we will draw for University of Western Ontario. They can be in position 3 or position 4 based on what the wheel says. Okay, drawing for Western. And they are position 4. The wheel is looking at where the top of this arrow is. So Western is 4. That means NYU is position 3. Now we'll move to the 4 teams that are considered seed number 5. Cal, MIT, UBC, and Duke. You can see that Cal and UBC are in the same region as UCLA, so we will separate them. MIT is from the same region as NYU, so they will be separated as well. So what I'm going to do here, just to make it convenient for me, is write down which positions are valid for each team. California and UBC cannot be drawn in position 8. They'd be in the same order as UCLA. However, the other 3 positions are valid, so I'm just going to write here 5, 6, and 7. Oops. It's going to give me a date. Okay, how do we do this? 5, 6, 7, 0. We're going to do the same for UBC. MIT, NYU is in the top half, so MIT must be in the bottom half with positions 7 and 8. Okay. And you can see that in Duke, there is no other team from Mid-Atlantic, so Duke can go anywhere. Right. Okay. So first, let's draw for NYU because they have the fewest possible positions. NYU can be 7 or 8. Drawing for, I'm sorry, MIT.
MIT.
MIT goes position 8. Thank you, Dan. Okay, they're done. And that's convenient because now California, UBC, and Duke can go in any of these 3 positions. So we'll take all 3, 5, 6, and 7, and we will draw for California. Cal is in position 6. Okay. Make sure that's okay. Yep. Okay, UBC, position 5 or 7. And then Duke will get the remaining spot. UBC is position 7. And Duke is position 5. Okay, now the remaining 8 teams are equally seed number 9. So besides the region division considerations, they can go in any of the remaining places. And we're going to do the same thing I did before, where I'm going to write down which are the valid positions for each team. So 2 teams in the northeast are already here. Columbia can be 9, 10, 13, and 14. Emory and Rice are in the south, from the south. Texas Wesleyan is also from the south. So they can be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Michigan's from the Great Lakes. Western's from the Great Lakes. So Michigan can be 9, 10, 11, 12. That's it. Wisconsin and Illinois are from the Midwest. There are no teams from the Midwest. So the only consideration is that Wisconsin and Illinois should be in opposite halves. So we will likely draw them last. Maryland from the Mid-Atlantic will be the opposite half of Duke. So Maryland should be 13, 14, 15, or 16. Davis, there are 3 teams from the West already. So Davis must occupy the remaining quarter, which is 9 or 10. So we will draw for Davis first, since they are the most restricted team. Drawing for UC Davis, positions 9 or 10. UC Davis is position 9. That's done. These 2 teams cannot be in those positions anymore. Okay. So Michigan and Columbia are more restricted than other teams, so we will draw for one of those. Let's draw for Columbia, 10, 13, or 14. 10, 13, or 14. Okay, for Columbia, Columbia is 10. Okay. Columbia is 10. Michigan must be 11 or 12. Autocomplete. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to make sure this is okay. So if Michigan takes one of these 2 spots, then Wisconsin, Illinois will take the other, and Emory or Rice will be in the bottom. That's fine. Okay, so we'll draw for Michigan, 11 or 12. Drawing for Michigan, 11. Okay, Michigan is done. Okay, as I said, Illinois and Wisconsin must be in opposite halves. So one of them will be in one of these 4 positions. One of them will be position 12. So I'm going to save position 12 for one of them, meaning I'm not going to permit Emory, Rice, or Maryland. Well, Maryland wouldn't have been there, but Emory or Rice cannot be position 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, and the same for Rice. Okay, so Emory, Rice, and Maryland all can be somewhere 13, 14, 15, or 16. We would draw Emory first, and whichever quarter they go into, for example, if Emory is 13, then Rice cannot be 14. They would be in the same quarter. We'll draw Emory first. Emory is 14. Okay, so Rice cannot be 13. Rice can only be 15 or 16. We will draw for Rice, 15 or 16. Rice is 16. Okay. Those two are done. What do we have left? Maryland, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Maryland can be 13 or 15. Drawing for Maryland. Maryland is 15. And that leaves Wisconsin and Illinois, 12 or 13. Drawing for Wisconsin. $13. And Illinois has the last spot, which is 12. Okay, so this is the women's team bracket. Do one little check. Okay. Yeah. So I forgot to share this link. Let me share the link for you. Okay, I put the link in chat. If it's more convenient for you to look at the spreadsheet directly, you can just take that link, and that is active. I'm not going to delete it or anything. It's just going to stay there for however long. I think last year's draw spreadsheet is still open as well. So that will stay open. Okay. If there are no comments on that, no comments or questions, we will go ahead and do the co-ed teams. So as before, we're drawing in order. Top seed is Cal. There's only one position they can go. I'm going to place them there. Second seed is Texas Wesleyan. Only one position they can go. I place them in position 2. Indiana and NYU are equally considered seed number 3. So they can be in positions 3 or 4. We will draw for Indiana, position 3 or 4. Indiana is 4. So NYU is 3. The next level of seeding is the 4 teams that are seeds 5. UCLA is in the same region as California, so they must be in the bottom half, position 7 or 8. Western and Michigan are from the same region and should be in opposite halves. And Chicago, so what will happen is UCLA will be in the bottom half. One of the Great Lakes teams will also be in the bottom half. That means Chicago must be in the top half. We will see this as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and draw for UCLA first. UCLA positions 7 or 8. UCLA is 7. Western and Michigan, at the moment, Western can go anywhere, 5, 6, or 8. So we'll draw for Western. Western is 6. Okay. Michigan must go in the opposite half of Western. So the only place available for them is 8. I'm going to put them there. University of Chicago has the last position, which is number 5. I place them. Okay. The next level of seeding are the 8 teams that are equally seeded number 9. Right. 8 teams, 8 available positions. This is quite complicated, so bear with me. We'll start with the South. UT Dallas and Georgia Tech are from the South. Also, UT Dallas is from the same division as Texas Wesleyan. So UT Dallas can be 9, 10, 11, or 12. And Georgia Tech can be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14. Cornell, Western is in the top half. So Cornell can be 13, 14, 15, or 16. UCSD can be 11, 12, 15, or 16. Virginia can go anywhere. The three teams from the lower Midwest should all be in separate. Let's see. There are already two teams from the Midwest. 1 and 2. Also, Purdue and University of Chicago are from the same division. So Purdue, what's going to happen is there are 5 teams here, right? So we'll fill in these 2 quarters, but then one team will be in the same quarter as another Midwest team. 5 teams don't fit into 4 quarters, so we have to go to eighths. The first thing we'll do is make sure Purdue is separated from University of Chicago. So only 14, 15, or 16. Illinois and WashU are from the same division, so they should be in opposite halves. But right now, the available positions are 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, and 16. But again, note that since there are 5 teams from the Midwest, once 2 Midwest teams go into the same quarter, I'm not going to allow any other Midwest teams to be in the same quarter. So the most restricted team right now actually is Purdue. And because we don't want to draw to the same quarter if we can avoid it, I'm going to go ahead and not allow them to be in the same quarter as Indiana. So they can only be in 15 or 16 to maintain that we are still in separate quarters. So we'll draw for Purdue first. $16 for Purdue. Okay, that removes this. So 15. No. It cannot be 15 or 16. I guess in theory they could, but they cannot be 16. Okay. Cornell and UC San Diego have 2 available positions. Draw for Cornell, 13, 14, or 15. 13. Right. That's not right. If they're 15, they're in the same order as Michigan. So what happened here? Let's review. Cornell, the same region as Western and Michigan. So Cornell can be 9, 10, 13, or 14. Okay, I'm not sure what happened here, so I'm going to review what I looked at before. Dallas can be 9, 10, 11, or 12. That's okay. Georgia Tech, 9 through 14. Cornell, 9, 10, 13, 14. UCSD, 11, 12, 15. Okay, that's fine. So San Diego is the most restricted team. We'll draw them 11, 12, or 15. Drawing for UC San Diego.
Oh, you're missing 12.
Okay, thank you. So we will cancel that. 11, 12, or 15. Okay, San Diego is position 15. Okay, that removes that option from Illinois and WashU. Okay, now 6 teams remaining, 6 places. UT Dallas is still correct. Georgia Tech, that's still correct. Cornell, 9, 10, 13, 14, that's correct. Illinois, 1, 9. That's not correct. That's not correct. Illinois, okay. Of Illinois and WashU, one of them should go in positions 11 or 12. That makes it so that there's one Midwest team in each quarter. The other of those teams will have to occupy the same quarter as another Midwest team. That would be 9 or 14. 9, 11, 12, 14. Okay. That's okay. So let's draw for Cornell. 9, 10, 10, 13, and 14. 9, 10, 13, 14 for Cornell. Cornell is position 9. Autocomplete kills me. Okay, that was one of the valid spots for the Midwest teams. Midwest can be 11, 12, or 14 still. UT Dallas, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so let's draw for UT Dallas. 10, 11, or 12 for UT Dallas. 11. Okay, so Georgia Tech, that changes things for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech can no longer be 12 because it'd be same quarter as UT Dallas. So Georgia Tech can be 10, 13, or 14. '11 is no longer available for them. So Illinois and WashU, one will be in 12 and the other will be in 14. And Virginia still can go anywhere. So we will draw for Illinois and WashU. One will be 12, and the other will be 14. We'll draw for Illinois. 12 or 14 for Illinois. Illinois is 12, and that means WashU must be 14. The remaining places 10 and 13. Georgia Tech can go in either one, and so can Virginia. So we will draw for Georgia Tech 10 or 13. '10 for Georgia Tech. Virginia gets 13. Okay, let's check. Okay, that looks fine. Our final positions, 8 teams, equally seated, number 17.
Mhm.
Okay,
I have
so
to.
is something wrong?
Nope.
Jeff, is there something wrong?
No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing and try to write down the valid positions for these teams. In the Northeast, NYU is here. So the valid positions for the other teams are 17, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24 for Columbia and Boston University. Duke and Maryland. Virginia is here. So Duke can be 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24. Same for Maryland. UBC and UC Irvine. Okay. One of them should go in 19 or 20, and the other will have to occupy the same court as another West team. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 24. There is an additional restriction for UC Irvine. They're in the same division as San Diego. So we will try to keep them in the top half, meaning 18, 19, or 20. Emory is in the south, and the only available quarter for them is positions 21 and 22. University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. There should be 3 available spots. 17, 19, and 23. Okay, the most restricted team is Emory. We will draw Emory into positions 21 or 22. Emory gets position 22. Okay. UC Irvine, 18, 19, or 20. What I'm going to do is draw UC Irvine.
I joined the Zoom for fun.
Okay. Of the 2 West teams, one of them must go into this quarter here because there are no California teams here. Which one it will be, I should not designate one team to go into that quarter. So I'm going to draw, let's see. So if I draw Irvine to 19 or 20, that's not fair. It's not random. If I draw UBC, 18, 19, 20, 21, or 24. Jeff, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Jeff, if everyone doesn't know, Jeff is the tournament referee. So Jeff, what I think I'll do is draw UBC into the 5 valid positions for them: 18, 19, 20, 21, and 24. And
Okay.
then if they do not occupy 19 or 20, then I'll draw UC Irvine into 19 or 20. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll draw UBC first. 18, 19, 20, 21, and 24. Okay, UBC is position 21. There. And now this quarter, which has no West Coast teams in it, should get UC Irvine. So UC Irvine, it's position 19 or 20. $20 for UC Irvine. Okay, so let's update our positions. 17, 18, 19, 23, 24 are the available positions. Okay. 17, 18, 23, 24. Okay, that's lucky, I guess. Okay. University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. 17, 19, and 23. That's okay. Oh, I had duplicate numbers. 17, 19, and 23. We will draw for University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. 17. Okay. Okay. Columbia, Boston University, Duke, and Maryland. Okay, this is fairly straightforward then. We will draw for Columbia, 18, 23, or 24. Drawing for Columbia. Note that if Columbia draws 23 or 24, then Boston University will automatically go to 18, so that they do not become go in the same quarter as the other team from the Northeast. What happens with UBC and what happens with Duke and Maryland? Duke and Maryland. Okay. Drawing for Columbia. $23. And that means Boston University, the only available spot is 18. Our 2 remaining teams are Duke and Maryland, 19 and 24. Drawing for, let's see. Okay, drawing for Duke. 19 for Duke. Maryland has the remaining spot, 24. Okay, this is the bracket for the co-ed team championships. And as I said, I put the link to this sheet in the chat. You can view it at any time. It will stay visible, not for eternity, but for a long time. I'm going to also show you, by the way, on that link is the empty brackets for the women's singles and men's singles. We are not going to do the draws for those now because we will first play the preliminary rounds and then we will draw everybody together. The draw for that will be done on site on Saturday during the tournament. And I don't have a scheduled time for it because I'm not sure when I'm available to make the draw. But what will happen is if you looked at the athlete handbook, which Willie distributed, there is a link to a WhatsApp group where you can receive announcements. I will put in the WhatsApp group, hello everyone, I'm making the singles draw now. Come to wherever. I'll tell you where I'm making the draw and you can show up and witness it or not. If it's up to you. You could also just at that time look at this link and watch as we fill in the draw. It will not be on Zoom. It will only be live. So I will be looking at this page, these two pages, filling in the draw, and I will have witnesses there on site, probably drawing cards to put players into the positions. So again, that's the WhatsApp link from the athlete handbook that Willie distributed. So that's it. That's all the draws that we are doing today. I hope this was informative for you. And since we are here, Willie and I with Dan, Jeff, and Bill, if there are some questions that you have about the tournament, you could ask us now. We will have a team captains meeting and a players meeting, I believe on the 9th, right, Willie? On April 9th on Zoom, where it's mandatory attendance. However, if you have questions now about rosters, lineups, stuff like that, you can ask us and we'll try to help you out. And
Kagan, question in the chat.
Yes.
Same separation rules apply for singles.
That is correct. That is correct, Sharon. Everybody is separated in great detail level in singles. You're welcome.
Remember, everyone, rosters can be changed. It is open right now in NCTTA app. So you have until April 4th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time to change how you see fit within the rules, of course.
Yeah. And if this
Any
is
other questions?
If you are a first time attendee at this tournament, if there are any questions, I encourage you to ask. You don't want to, it's fairly common for first time teams to make some kind of mistake. Not necessarily technical mistake, but realizing, oh, I shouldn't have filled out my roster this way. So look at the details, read the details and ask us if something is unclear. All right. There are no questions or comments. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Kagan.
Right.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Dan.